We are so many in this call. So happy to see that you are awake. Before we start, I would love to ask you, how do you feel this morning? Write in the chat. I just grabbed a cup of coffee. I'm feeling a little bit that I haven't started yet. Do you feel the same? Perhaps you started really early today, who knows? Recently woke up, wrote Christine. Oh. How about Petra and Henrik?
I'm so excited.
I feel amazing.
Did you wake up early today?
I have a dog, so yes, every day.
And I have a baby, so yes.
Yes. All right, Andreas here. All good from Sundbyberg. That's close to where we sit, actually. Technigo headquarters are in Stockholm in Södermalm. But however, you guys sit, our teachers and colleagues sits all over the world, kind of. But you, Henrik, sit in Norrköping. No, Linköping.
Nyköping.
Nyköping!
Kind of one of the Köpings.
I'm so sorry. Still learning.
Yeah.
Okay, so clock has struck 10 and we're going to start this session. We're going to talk about how to get a job when you're new in the industry. And we are super excited. And this is Zoom webinar. We can't see you. We can't hear you. You can only use the chat. And you can also ask questions throughout the whole session. But feel free to use the Q&A button for your question, because then it's easier for us to see them. They easily get lost in the chat when we write there. And we're very happy when you use the chat. It's so nice to see some engagement there. So this is actually the fourth day of the Get Into Tech and Design Week. And we have a lot of sessions today, but I'm really looking forward to this one. So I'm just gonna let you start, basically. Warm welcome here and kick it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Petra Stenqvist, that's me. I'm career coach at Technigo. I have a career coaching program parallel with the boot camp, and I coach all our students to get a job in tech. I have a background in HR, recruitment, and I have worked as a consultant manager where my head focus were coaching the junior IT consultants. I'm a food lover. I love food. I love cooking food, eat food, go to restaurants, travel to eat food. Yeah, I love food. And also I'm a handball coach to 11 years old boys. It's so much harder to coach them than coach our students in the industry. That's a short about me. How about you, Henrik?
Yes, so my name is Henrik Jusander. I am a people and culture consultant with Recommended By. Recommended By is HR consultancy firm, I guess we could say. And part of my job is being a career coach at Technigo for the UX bootcamp students, which is amazing and I love it. I have a background as a personnel manager within the private care sector. And for the last couple of years, I've been working with recruitment in Stockholm within tech, mostly, but within fintech and with gaming companies. When I'm not working, I am, I guess you could say, music nerd. I play drums, and I am a kite surfing coach and instructor. I think I agree with Petra on that. It's harder to coach newbies in kitesurfing than in IT. So that's me.
Great. And even though we think kitesurfing and handball is easy, it's harder to coach than searching for a job, we know it can be really, really scary to find a job in a new and different industry. We know that you can feel unsure about your knowledge, you feel that you're new, you don't have any experience, and you don't know where to start. And that's why we are here today, to give you something to start with. And hopefully after this session, you will feel that it's a little bit easier and more fun to find a job.
Exactly, and this is what the agenda today looks like. We could talk about 1,000 things, I guess, but we have chosen 3 topics that we want to cover today. So we're going to talk about the tech industry as a whole, what it looks like. We're going to talk about what the job process in tech can look like. Keep in mind that there are a lot of different processes and it can look very different, but we're going to go through an example of it. And we're going to give you our best tips for you. Okay, so I hope you're as excited as we are. Let's get into it. So to start and just to talk about the industry and what it looks like in general. So according to the European Center for the Development of Vocational Training, the Swedish IT and telecom industries lack about 70,000 skilled workers. That's only in Sweden, 70,000. That's a big number, a lot of open positions, basically. And even better news, this is from the US, keep in mind this number, but 80% of tech managers in the US have hired graduates from coding boot camps, and there's a general in the US, a general kind of feeling that the requirement to have a university degree is not as important as it has been previously. And nowadays, I would say almost every company needs developers or IT people in one way or another. So there's a lot of different roles within IT and within development, which means that there's a big opportunity coming into this industry to grow in a lot of different directions, to find your own niche and develop new skills within an area that's interesting to you specifically. Also, there's a lot of stuff happening within the tech industry. Everything is moving really fast, which means that even if you come into the industry with what you might see as junior knowledge, that means it's relevant knowledge. So if you have 20 years of experience, doesn't mean that it's necessarily better, because the stuff that were happening 20 years ago are old, like since a long time, because it's moving so fast. So you need to kind of keep up with the times all the time within the industry. And from a recruiter's perspective, of course, there's a lot of different things we could talk about here. But what I would like to say mostly is there's a lot of open roles within the tech. A recruiter working within tech might have, just to give you an example, might have 10 open roles that they are working with at the same time. And let's say that they have 100 applications for each job. That means that they have 1,000 applications to go through. They're not going to spend 10-15 minutes on every application. the time just isn't there for that. So your job is to create a profile and an application that is very clear and simple. So the recruiter should be able to look at your CV or your application, however it looks like, and understand who you are and what you can do in, of course, hard to put a number on, but 30 seconds. The point is you have to be very clear and simple when you're presenting yourself to a recruiter. So let's look at the recruitment process, or like we said, an example of it. Keep in mind that this is an example. It could look very different. There are probably as many different processes as there are companies. But this is an example, and I think this is a very common one. So you basically, there is a job ad, and you send in your application. Your application might consist of a CV and a portfolio, for example, or maybe just a CV, sometimes not even that, actually. But after that, the next step after a recruiter has screened your application is the first interview, or some people call it a screening interview. It might be a phone call or a scheduled video call, but it's usually view it as a first interview, basically a chance for both of you to talk more about the role and ask questions. I want to emphasize that it's not just an opportunity for the recruiter to ask you questions, it's also an opportunity for you to ask questions about the job. The next step might be a tech test, and that could also differ. It could be a take-home test or assignment, something that they send to you and you can do at your home and send in before a set deadline. In some cases, it could be more of an on-the-spot test that you do in the interview situation. I think the take-home assignment is more common in more junior roles.
Talk about the three different kind of tech tests. The home assignment is the most common one. Second one is that you do it on spot, as Henrik said, and then maybe like a pair programming thing you do together with your tech lead or something. And it can also be that you should explain something on a whiteboard. And that is very, very, very rare for junior positions. That's more for senior or team lead kind of positions where you use whiteboard and write code. And I know that all of you, or I think all of you, just hearing the word tech test make you feel like I'm scared, or even more scared of the job application and recruitment process thing. But the test is, even though the name tech test, it's not a test where you need to have 100% right on the test. It's more for the recruiter to see what level you are on and if you would be a great fit in the team. So it's totally fine to have a test where you understand about 50%. You do your best. Sorry.
Exactly. No, very good point. Very good point. And that's why the next step is usually, if you have a take-home assignment, the next step would be a tech interview. And in that step, you usually meet the hiring manager for the role, which might be a manager or a team lead within the tech department. So that's an opportunity to talk about the test and to explain why you made the choices you did in the test and how you thought solving the assignment. And after that, you get a job offer. Simple as that. And then you sign it and then you start working. It's that simple. Of course, like we said, this is an example. Just to there might be one more step in some cases, which is a kind of cultural fit interview, which is more focused on not your technical skills, but on you as kind of your person and your personality, basically. But I think this is a very common example of what it might look like.
And it can also be a meet the team interview somewhere in the process. It could be like meet the CEO, and also the job offer can be different. It can be that you get a contract sent to you with your job offer. It could also be a meeting where you discuss salary and type of work and your role. So the job offer part can also differ a lot.
Yes. Exactly, and that's why it's okay to ask the recruiter what the process is going to look like if you have a first interview, because it might differ a lot from company to company. So I think that's a very common question for a recruiter, and it's totally okay to ask what it's going to look like so that you can prepare for the whole process. Okay.
Great. Thank you for great information. So we're just talking about the recruitment process from the company's perspective, how the recruitment process look like from the company. And now we're going to talk a little bit about the job search process, what you can do in the process. So first of all, we were talking about sending application. And to send application, you need a profile to send. And we were talking a little bit about CV. That's what probably everyone have been working with before and what you feel familiar with, a CV. Me, personally, don't like CVs. It's a PDF that you send and you cannot change it then or something. I work with LinkedIn profile. It's mostly the same as a CV. You have your experience, you have a picture about yourself, you have your skills. So your LinkedIn profile is very similar to a CV. And send your LinkedIn. But most important in the tech industry is that you have a portfolio where you can show the experience that you have. Because if you you don't have any work experience in tech, and maybe you have joined a boot camp, you have 6 months, maybe you are self-learned, or a 2-year education, and feel that that's not enough. You don't have 10 years experience in tech. So you need a portfolio that you can talk about the things that you have done, even if you have doing them on your free time. So create a portfolio, add everything that you have done. All the projects you have done in school, or the project you have helped your mom or your hair cutter with a web page, anything you add to your portfolio. And then also you need a pitch, a great pitch about yourself, a really short one where you explain who you are, a little bit about your experience, and why you want to be a developer or UX designer or the role that you are looking for. And you start your pitch with, "Hi, I'm a developer," or "Hi, I'm a UX designer," or "I'm a tech project manager," or the role that you're looking for. You present yourself as that title with experience in HR or what you have done before. So that's what you can start with right now. You start to say that you are the role that you are applying to with experience in. So if I were searching for a job in tech, I would not say I'm a career coach that want to be a developer. I would say I'm a developer with experience as a career coach. So you do the opposite. So when you create your profile, it's very important, as Henrik said, keep it simple. The recruiter will spend, you say 30 seconds, I would say 20 seconds.
Yeah,
But,
probably,
so
you're right.
somewhere between, not much time on your profile. So if you send a long list with everything you've done in your entire life and like a diary with things about yourself, the recruiter will not have time to read it, and they will spend 20 seconds of something and maybe the wrong part. So you want to make sure that the recruiter spend their 20 or 30 seconds on the most important parts about you. And that's your tech skills, your motivation, you're eager to learn, and what you want to do in your future, what you can contribute with in your new role. So a strong, short and strong pitch, your LinkedIn profile and your portfolio. Some companies require a CV, so CV too, that should be more about you as a tech person than your background. And when you send your application, you send it to ads. You can find ads on LinkedIn and many other websites, but also in your network. So start to build a network, start to connect with developers, team leads, tech recruiters, build your network and dare to not only connect with them, write to them and ask for a coffee, ask them questions. The tech industry is, everyone in the tech industry are really, really kind, and they want to help and they want to share their knowledge, and everyone likes to talk about their self and their job. So if you just send a question, hi, I see that you are a developer at this company. I'm really, really interested. Can you just tell me a little bit about your role and the company? And you will get answer. So build your network. It's easy today. You don't have to live in the same city. You can just connect on LinkedIn and on meetups, webinars, in groups.
Definitely. Sorry to interrupt, but I think that's so important to have a strong network and to build a strong network and to talk to people and to put yourself out there, kind of let people know that you're looking for a job within this industry. Just imagine that you are a tech team lead within a company and you're looking for a new person to your team. If you know someone, maybe that person reached out to you and asked to have a coffee, you know that this person is looking for a job. You're not going to put a lot of time and effort and money into writing a new ad and going through a lot of different applications. You're going to ask that person that you just met yesterday that you know is looking for a job. So I think that's a very important point to emphasize.
And also on LinkedIn, you will see first-hand contacts, but also your second-hand contacts. So if you connect with tech recruiters, they most of the times have a really, really big network, because we recruiters, we connect with everyone in tech. So if you just connect with a few tech recruiters, then you will have a very, very big second-hand tech network. So you can start with connect with me and Henrik, and then you will get a tech network very, very easy. The third point, first you need an attractive profile, and then you start with a network, and then you will get called to interview. First interview where you pitch yourself, but also the second interview that could be a tech test and tech interview. You need to practice for this. If you are not used to talk about yourself, start to practice. Write down how do I want the recruiters to see me? And it should be really close to who you are, because it's really hard to play that you are someone else. Write down, create a page, and practice. Practice the short one that you can say when you are grabbing a coffee, like in a rush, and a long pitch that you can say when the recruiter is laid back and ask you who you are and expect you to talk a little bit longer than 20 seconds. Practice your pitch and practice to talk about code or design or what you're looking for kind of job in tech, so that you will prepare. for the tech interviews. And be proud of what you have learned. If you have learned it from yourself or in a very short time in a boot camp or in your education, be proud of the things that you have learned and don't be ashamed of the things that you don't know. It's totally fine to say, I don't know what that is, if they ask you something about tech. But I would like, maybe you can explain it to me. I would love to learn. So you continue. You don't only say, I don't know that. You ask about it. Okay, it's similar to this. I think I can learn that pretty fast. That should be the answer.
Yes, definitely. I just want to say I agree with everything you're saying. So let's get into our best tips.
And we have mentioned already some of this. Change career, change the way you apply for jobs, and that's networking and use a portfolio instead of CV. Or highlight your portfolio instead of your CV, because you really want the recruiter to look at that. Don't be afraid to brag. Be proud of yourself. Use your connections and make new connections. That's the networking we have been talking about. And my personal favorite tips, I know I said that you should send application with a pitch, portfolio on your LinkedIn. If you dare to, and even if you don't, try. Record your pitch into a video and send the video instead of a text pitch. That make it very, very personal. You will stand out from the crowd. As Henrik said, it could be like 100, 200, 300 applicants on one single row. And you want to stand out, and you will definitely do that with a video pitch.
I have never created a video CV or a video pitch. It's so way out of my comfort zone. I wish I did, because I think it's so good when I get one. It's I'm always so impressed. It's so good, but yeah, it is scary.
But if you pitch yourself and record it, and then you can look at it, and it can be two outcomes. It can be, yeah, I like this one, I will send it to companies, or I don't like this one. Oh, it's this the way I look when I talk about how happy I am and I look very, very angry. Then maybe you can give yourself some feedback and do changes in how you say in your pitch. So it's great for the recruitment process, but also for yourself.
It definitely is. And last but not least, don't give up. Searching for new jobs can be a tedious and long process. You will probably get 100 no's. Sometimes you don't even get an answer. That's even more frustrating. But in the 101st try, you might get a yes, and you only need one yes. So I know it's easier said than done, but try not to take it personally if you get a no, and just keep on going and don't give up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's so nice. So we have 10 minutes with Q&A. It was a great presentation, and we got a lot of questions, and I have woken up. All right, I'm just gonna kick it away. Are you ready?
Yes.
Someone was
so.
asking before in the chat, because we were talking about the different steps of the process, but it felt that it was mainly for perhaps programmers. It was the tech test, for instance. So someone was asking, but how does it work for UX designers, for instance?
Good question. I have worked with a few different UX roles as a recruiter, and usually it's kind of what we should call the skeleton of the process usually looks the same, and instead of a tech test, it's a UX test, or sometimes they call it a case assignment, but it's usually basically the same.
Can you get a sneak peek of what that UX can be like? Is it to wireframe something or ideate or?
Yeah, I would say it depends on what type of role it is, of course, but yeah, wireframing is probably or more a broader assignment where you kind of get a whole assignment to create a prototype for an app or whatever it might be, and then you have they want you to put, let's say, 4 hours into creating a pitch for that, which should include maybe a wireframe or maybe a prototype or something like that. So it's some kind of assignment where you have an opportunity to show what you actually can do.
Okay, good answer. The questions are flowing in. I'm just gonna hurry. All right, so Camilla, you get your question answered. And Hedvig is asking, when you send spontaneous applications, who at the firm should you send it to?
It depends on the size of the company. If it's a big company, then they probably have jobs at companyname.com or a recruitment team that you can send it to a recruiter. Medium size, then you send it to the HR. And a small company, you can even send it to the CEO.
All right.
Or the founder.
Okay, how would it be weird if I would haunt like a tech recruiter on LinkedIn? Like I found a job or like a workplace, and I hunt the recruiter down and start writing to this person. Is that a way to get in, or is it spam?
No, it's great. Recruiters are doing that all the time. They hunt developers and designers and contact them.
But also, if I can just get a nuance it a bit, of course you want to be a likable person. Okay, so you don't want to stalk anyone or be nasty in any way.
That was not what I was asking.
Okay, good. I just want to make sure.
No, I'm just kidding. I totally understand, and you can probably
you can write to them on LinkedIn, but not stand outside their window.
Yes.
7 o'clock in the morning.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean. Thanks.
Great. Thank you. Lina is asking, how many pages maximum would you recommend for a portfolio? That's a tough question.
That's a really good question.
I would say, I cannot say how many pages, but highlight between 2 and 6 projects. And then you can just create a list with other projects.
Yes, I think that's a good kind of rule of thumb. To give an example, I actually recently got a portfolio in an application with 150 pages. That was too much.
Yeah. Can imagine that's a tough one to screen through.
Yes.
Yarda is writing in a chat, big thanks for the tips. For those who are worried about tech interviews, I thought it was great to see some interviews on YouTube. Thought it is a good way to know what to expect and how it might go. That is a good tip, or
yeah,
definitely.
I think that's great.
I think it's like Petra was talking about practice your pitch, watch YouTube. It's like everything else. I think practice makes perfect, or better at least.
Yes, indeed. Okay, because we talked about the video kind of pitch before. I've actually been at the office and helped a student with this. It was hilarious because she decided to, I'm gonna do it, but I'm so scared, and it ended up so well. It was totally out of her comfort zone. But Felicia is asking, for the video CV, do you say your whole experience in the video or just the pitch?
Just the pitch. The video, this is really important, I forgot to say, it's so great that you asked. The video should be maximum 90 seconds, 1.5 minutes. not longer, because then the recruiter will stop look at it.
Yeah, and I know that you have other tips as well on the whole video. It's like a gold mine, but I know that it also start to catch interest already in the beginning. It's important. It's like those, when you scroll on Instagram and you see these videos. All right, let me see if there's any more on the CV video. I've heard that your portfolio need to be on your own web page. Is that true? The CV video, should it be in English even if you apply for a job in, for example, Sweden?
I can start with the video question from the second question. I think in many companies, even if they are Swedish companies, they have English-speaking recruiters. So it's always better to send your application in English if you don't have both. But also the purpose with the video is that you should show the real you. And if you're very uncomfortable in speaking English, then it's better to have it in Swedish.
Very good point.
Yes. So, and also read the ad. If it says, sometimes it says that they want the application in English, then it might be because the recruiter is English speaking, and then you would want to use English as a language. But you can usually, if there's any kind of specifics about that, you can usually read it in the ad or ask.
Okay, so on the same line, I think many of you guys in here have questions about the portfolio. That's very fun to see. Okay, someone's asking, we have done UX and service design projects at school as a group. Can group works be added to the portfolio? Do you need permissions from the client or / the teammates?
I would say
Good
no.
question. I would say yes, if you don't want to lie and say that I have done all of this myself. But if you're open about what it is, I would say that it's better than having nothing.
Yeah, but you can say that it's a group project, but
Yeah,
do you need to ask the group?
Oh, no, not if you say, not if it's not tied to any NDA or something like that.
Tricky question, but we agreed on no. You don't have to ask.
Yeah, I mean the bootcamp students, they are working in teams, the web, I know for sure, and I mean they are highlighting their team efforts, and you're working towards the same goal to find a job and change career.
I think it's great to show that you can work in teams. And by yourself too, of course, but it's great that you can work in teams.
You're probably going to work in a team if you get the job. So
yeah, I mean that's probably the biggest myth about programmers, that you sit solo in a cellar, but it's really not true at all. Okay, so I'm gonna say they're tough questions, and I know that I cannot answer them all. We only have 3 minutes left. I'm gonna see if there's if many people have asked the same question. It's so much fun that you have asked.
Just give a quick answer to Sarah.
Yeah.
If you are introverted and building a network is out of your comfort zone, it's not exactly building a network, but to get activity on your LinkedIn and just join tech groups, follow tech pages, and like all the tech articles that shows up, then your profile will be shown in tech recruiters search.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people in tech are introverts as well. I am one. So, but talking about tech is what introverted people want to do, maybe, that are in tech. So that might help. I don't know.
Okay,
so tech groups on Facebook, for example.
Yeah, I mean,
if you don't want to write something by yourself, you can answer others' questions and start there.
That's a good tip. Okay, so I'm gonna, the final question to you guys, it's from Ricardo. How can you use your previous skills when you're getting a tech job for the first time?
Can I take this?
Yes, yes, that's your specialty.
Okay, focus on the personalities that you have developed in your previous experience. So it doesn't matter what you have done from before. If you have worked in a restaurant, for example, you can say that you are great working with customers, you are stress resident, you have a great teamwork, and can work like uncomfortable times. You have so much things from the experience that are not that you cannot use in tech, but you will be a great team player, or if you work with communication, and you have so many skills that are not only the tech skills that you highlight from your experience that will make you a better developer.
Yeah, I mean, that is so true. I mean, I think that there are two common questions that we get often here at Technigo, and it is like, can I change from any industry? Like I work as a, yeah, like you said, like a chef or within like a total different area. And can I really change career to the tech? And the second one, I think I'm too old. Am I too old to change career? And Petra?
No. The older you are, the more experience you have. So you just need to pitch yourself.
Yeah.
And not focus on your age or the time that you have studied.
No.
Focus on your skills and your personalities.
Yeah. And tech is, because this industry is changing so rapidly, you can always jump on board. If someone learned programming in the 90s, they won't use the same language today, most likely. So yeah, you can do it whenever. So unfortunately, we cannot answer all of the questions here. However, as you can see on the screen, Henrik and Petra has added their emails, but you can also get in contact with them on LinkedIn for sure. Get new connections. We will add the LinkedIn links in an email after, along with the recording, so you can rewatch this as well. But feel free to connect with Henrik and Petra and ask them almost whatever. And
yeah, you can always ask.
Yes, we are very happy to help you. And yes, that's it.
Thank you so much for joining, everyone.
Thank you
for joining this. Thank you, Henrik and Petra.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.